What's up? Today I'm going to show you guys 2 screenshots that I got sent by my student Patrick. Shout out, bro. So this time frame of April 21st to 24th, he made 737 euros within 1,091 sessions. So a terrible revenue per visitor, terrible conversion rate. We went from that to actually making, if you check out the date here, within a week, almost a 7% conversion rate with a 52 euro average order value. So let's check out the revenue per visitors for each, right? Because that's the metric that actually matters at the end of the day. If we pull up the calculator, 737, so that's 832 euro dollars divided by 1,091, 76 cents per visitor. So this one is winning offer right here, the bottom one, right? Average order value times the 6.76 conversion rate, that divided by 100 is a $3.9 revenue per visitor. So his store went from making 76 cents a visitor to now making almost $4 a visitor. Now it's a very simple 3-step process that I'm going to be going over, and it's super important to keep in mind that all these 3 steps root from one core thing. They all root from something which is called A/B testing. If you're new to this channel and you never heard me yap about this before, basically what A/B testing is, it's a concept of having 2 offers at the same time with the same traffic source. That versus, launching separate campaigns for 2 different offers, even if you have the same creatives in there, isn't really accurate, because essentially every ad set optimizes differently, and so it's not really only the offer that makes the difference. Okay, so it's really important that you actually have the same traffic source, but so that you have the same traffic quality, and then on the website split up your URL to 2 different product pages which look the exact same. The only difference is the offer. That is what an offer split test is. That is what an offer A/B test is, and as you can see, it's pretty powerful. And we changed absolutely nothing about his ads. Okay, this is also a really important fact. Nothing, absolutely nothing on his ads where it was changed. In fact, I don't even think he tested a lot of creatives in this time frame. It was just the offer. So that's why I'm so passionate about offers. The very first thing that we actually fixed was the pricing. And so when it comes to pricing, obviously it's super important to keep in mind that the most important thing on your store overall is always going to be your price. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if your perceived value is insanely good. Do they actually resonate with the upfront price or not? Now, you can do a lot of stuff with low upfront plus high shipping. You can play a lot of stuff, like I just said, with different offer structures, with different ways to enhance your offer, blah, blah, blah. But always the most relevant thing is the price. Okay, now what do we actually do in terms of the pricing? So what we did, we had a really good AOV, right? So his AOV was in the 60s somewhere, and he was having, as you can see here though, a terrible conversion rate. And so literally only thing that was his first split test was decreasing the price by 5 euros. Conversion rate went up crazily, okay? And he made more money just by decreasing his AOV. I said to him, okay, let's do it again. He did it again, boom, revenue per visitor went up. And so the very first thing that we played around with already made a big difference. It wasn't the whole story, which I'm going to get into in a second, but it already went, his conversion rate already went up to like 2, 3, 4% by this, only by decreasing the price. So if you guys struggle with low conversion rates, just lower your damn prices and pick products that have better margins. It's that simple, okay? If you're a dropshipper and you have the freedom of picking whatever product you sell, then you might as well pick a product which has unbelievably good margins, where you could play around with the pricing and still be ridiculously profitable, even if your margins aren't, even if your net margin, like your dollar amount isn't that crazy. Okay, really important, and keep this in mind. Now, the second thing that we actually fixed up was his structure. So offer structures are, for example, buy one get one, bundle discounts, okay? Bundles with multiple high perceived value products, low upfront, high shipping. All these different offer structures actually are better than just a normal 50% off offer, right? Which he actually had in the beginning. So we fixed up, we tested a bunch of different structures, boom, he made more money per visitor. And so what you can learn from this is the offer structure is actually going to allow the pricing to be what it is, okay? So if you want to increase your prices, if you don't make more money just by increasing price, by increasing the margin, if you just want to increase the margin overall, you got to have a really high perceived value offer structure. And there's a bunch of different ones which you can test, right? If it makes sense for your product to buy multiple pieces of, then obviously it wouldn't make sense for you to test a buy one get one, to test a bundle discount, to have a subscription model. If it doesn't make sense to do that, then maybe bundle up to multiple different products, have multiple free gifts, okay? And all these ways are essentially really, really important to even be profitable nowadays. Now, you can have a bunch of digital products inside of your bundle. And this brings me to the third thing that we actually picked up, which was the enhancements. Now, there's a ton of different ways how to enhance your offers, but basically this is from the book $100 Million Offers, right, from Alex Hormozi. I love that book. But essentially what you need is, like, you have 4 different ways to enhance your offers, right? You have bonuses, which are free gifts in e-com. You have guarantees, really important, and scarcity and urgency. And he had none of these things. And we added, and this is when it gets funny, we split tested, A/B tested all of these. We split tested different free gifts, scarcity, urgency, and obviously guarantees. And your guarantee, and this is what you really want to mention the most, the guarantee is probably the most important part of your entire offer, because if there's one thing that people love, if there's one thing that is not even real, it doesn't increase your cost of goods, it's just there, and it's like the craziest ROI that you will ever do in any business. Whenever you sell anything, okay, it doesn't matter if it's a service business, if it's an e-commerce business, if it's a software company, the craziest, highest perceived value part of your offer is always going to be your guarantee. If you don't have one, and in fact, most people do have one, but it's at the very bottom of their store, you can't have it there. Put it in the first product picture. Flex it. If you have a guarantee, it should be your unique selling point, okay? Really, really important. You can just do a lot of stuff with enhancements. Essentially, what's also very powerful is digital products. And so most people think digital products are just limited to ebooks or stuff like that, right? But it's not, right? You can do a lot more. You can do courses. You can do whole, communities, Facebook groups, right? You can do so much when it comes to your offer structure. And this is really important all to A/B test, right? That is the main takeaway of this video. If you don't A/B test your offers and everything what's going on your entire funnel, then you're not going to make any money, right? Because this is what he followed first. Before we actually started working together, this was the normal guru stuff that he followed, right? He just thought, okay, well, let me do 50% off. Let me just, rip my competitor stuff. And if it's working for the competitors, it doesn't mean at all that it's going to work for you. And this is living proof. And then we actually started thinking on his own, right? Without following the guru stuff, he made 5 times the money on his store without changing the ads. Now, another very important topic here that I want to mention is that your revenue per visitor is the only metric that you have to track, okay? Not only your conversion rate and not only your AOV. And this is something which most people get wrong, because they think, okay, well, I have a 5% conversion rate, but if you have a $10 AOV, you're not making any money, right? It's just the other way around too. If you have a $500 AOV, we have a 0.01 conversion rate. Still, once again, you're not making any money, okay? So think about it this way, right? It's the combination of these two that actually makes the revenue per visitor, and that is the only metric that you need to track, because this is a metric which you can then just directly compare to your cost per click on your ads and see how much you're actually profiting, right? And then obviously subtracting the cost of goods and stuff like that, but your revenue per visitor should always be the only metric that you're looking for. Anything other than that is not relevant and is not going to make any difference in your entire funnel. You can have a 10% conversion rate and not make money. You can have a $100 AOV and not make money. This is just what I mentioned. And it's so ridiculous to think, okay, well, I'm just going to only work on my conversion rate or only work on my AOV. Every time that we make changes on one thing, the other one is going to take a hit, and you have to find the best combination. This is really much what I wanted to mention. This was a super short video. I want to say thank you so much for giving me your most important asset, which is your attention. And if you like this video, go ahead and write your main takeaway into the comments below. Thank you so much once again for watching. I wish you a beautiful day.